So these will be simpler enemies. These will not be swarms of viruses. They're going to like chase you across the map, like you may have heard of. It could be. It could be. We're gonna keep it simple, right? What was the best part about Mario? It was doable. The enemies were dumb. They just walked back and forth until you smacked them on the head. That's what we're gonna go for here. So back in Forest of Doom, we should have, and I'll just walk through some of this. Go Unity. Should have an options menu that like has a slider that does absolutely nothing. That's great. And display should go to our first level. Jump around, collect coins, Oof. Maybe turbo jump every once in a while. That happens. All right. So this background was in our. Where's it at? Part two. Yeah. So I linked somewhere. I think on the first and the second. All the way down. This thing, Fantasy Forest Zip. So there's a bunch of cool stuff in there. I want to show off really quick while we're here. So that's where we got the second tile set, and there were these mock-ups of like, I just took half of that and made it the background for the menu. But this is like an example of what you could do with their stuff. So they had their own little character. We're going to go ahead and take that slime guy today. We'll use him. They did some cool stuff. So that was just all part of that. And there was parallax background stuff we didn't get to. All right, so we're here. We're going to make an evil eyeball because it's easy. We'll call it programmer art because we don't have to draw anything. This one's fine. Trent's happy. All right, so we're going to level 1. Zoom in here. Oh, I faked a background here, so I didn't show that off. This hasn't been a requirement, but I just made a sprite, a child of my camera, in this picture, and so it just follows my camera around. All right, I move my camera, the background goes with it. Super, super cheaty way of making things work, but it works. All right, so I got my knight. I'm going to start over here. So I've set this up. I've got a block here and a block here, and this is a background kind of a tree, maybe foreground. But I've got something for a dumb bad guy to bounce back and forth between. So we're going to make a dumb bad guy. So I will start by creating 2D object, sprite, circle. You good? All right. He's finally talking with his team. Okay, so we got just a white circle, which is a good start. I think the other guy might have been bigger. We'll just make him bigger. Here we go. So 1.5. And I'm going to add a circle collider. Add, I believe, a rigid body, 2D. And I'm going to add a box collider, 2D. And the box collider, I'm going to move forward here. How he's going to detect that he's hit something. So I need to make that box collider a trigger, and then the code that we're going to write will work. The other thing I need to do is to give him the rest of his circles. So let's go do a game object again, 2D, sprite, circle. I'm going to drag this up, and so it's like a child of him, and we'll make this nice evil red. And then one more. Looks kind of menacing. All right. So again, these are children. So with the circle, the first circle is all we got to move, and everything goes with them. So we're just going to go ahead and call him Evil Eye. He's not menacing enough to be the Eye of Sauron, but I like where you're going with that. All right. And we're going to give him a new script. So I'm going to add component, new script, and we're going to call him, what did I decide to call him? A pit monster. So he need to be down in something with something on the sides, right? So he's going to bounce back and forth between blocks or trees or something. So kind of in a pit. Over. What happened? Oh, layering. Okay, let's fix that while we're here. So Evil Eye can be 0. And then the second part, we'll just make sure is higher than that. So we'll do 1. Here we'll do 2. So if everything's set to the same layer, I mean, they can just kind of choose whatever, and they go disappear, reappear. It's like a bunch of paper trying to occupy the same spot. What's the middle part? The pupil. That is. There we go. There it is. Okay, finally opened up. So I got my pit monster script, and I'm gonna get rid of junk I don't need, and then start setting up some cool stuff that I need. So I'm gonna need a public Boolean, something that's true or false, and it's just gonna be go left. By default, we can make it true. Why not? Then I'll give it a public float. We'll call it move speed. Then we will pause a moment to regret the fact that I never really took typing seriously. I can, yeah, just a few fingers. What? Either way, we'll need them eventually. I guess I got ahead of myself, but as long as they're all together in the end, it'll work. Yeah. Okay, and then I need let's make it a float again. Call it direction. And I'm going to set this to -1 to start with. -1, not -10. OF. And then a private vector3 starting scale. Okay. On start, I'm going to take that starting scale. It's private. I'm only going to use it inside this class. And set that equal to, wow, thank you. To transform local scale. So I'm saving whatever this guy's scale is. I'm just hanging on to it. All right, I'm holding this number because I'm gonna use it later. So I'm saying, hey, whatever my transform local scale is, let me just hold on to those numbers. So that's holding a vector 3, which is x, y, and z. And then it's a copy from my cheat sheet. In update, I'll just check to see if that Boolean go left is true. And then if we are, then my direction will be -1 for left, which is what I set it to by default. Sometimes I don't want Visual Studio to help me as much, but it doesn't care. And so if we're heading left, if we're going in -1 direction, then I want it to look like this. So I'm using the scale to flip it. And so it's just a different way of doing things. When we did the knight, we were just flipping his sprite left and right. But I want to move the whole thing because I want to keep this box at the front of it. So if I change this whole scale, then the collider goes with it. All right, back to the code. So if we're heading left, which is the way we're facing, then our starting scale is what we want. Otherwise, thanks, Visual Studio. Yeah, so direction 1, and then instead of starting scale, we're going to do something crazy here that just flips it. So we're going to do a new vector 3. Stuff. So and then the rest is fine. So yeah. So all I'm doing here, so that starting scale, those 3 numbers that I saved off, x, y, and z, I'm just giving it a -x in this case, and then I'll just go ahead and give it starting scale dot y, comma, and starting scale, now it's caught on, dot z. So whatever those numbers were, the y and z, we're going to leave the same. But if we're heading right, then we're just going to -x on everything. And then that's the direction he's heading, left or right. And then finally, in update every frame, we're just going to say, hey, move. So transform, translate, we'll give it a new vector. So whichever direction we just told it, right? We're changing 1 to -1. Whatever the actual direction is, we're saying go that way on the x and then leave the y and the z alone. And then we're going to do that times our move speed times our time dot delta time, which again smooths things out in case we had a frame rate drop or something like that. All right. So all it's missing is to figure out if we should go left or not. Update's good. If we're going left, -1, and go back to our starting scale. If we're not supposed to go left, then we're going right. So it's +1, and there's that, and then we're moving. Then we need a good on trigger enter, because that's what we always do. I think we talked about this. I could literally have this be whatever. It's fine. I can name that variable. I like it to say other, just so in my mind I know, oh, it's the other thing that I just hit. Or I think by default it just said collider or something else. Collision, yeah. But I want to identify it just so I keep it straight in my head, what's happening. So if we hit something, literally anything, we hit something, then go left is going to equal not go left. This is more programmer shorthand. Saying for any Boolean, if I say be the opposite of what you are now, it's just flipping it on and off like a light switch. So go left could be true or false, and if I hit something, I'm just changing it to the other one. Make sense? All right, so leave a comment in there, and that should be it. And he'll just move around. What's going on with this? Get some errors. Ignore them. Ignore all errors until they become real problems. Then your dumb enemy is too dumb.
Would we do like a rate pass downwards to see if it hits the ground or not?
You could, or just let them go forever, or maybe maybe the spikes kill him too. I don't know. So again, so this for this particular guy, I'm very deliberately I set up these blocks here. If you want him to chase you up and down a hill and then eventually fall off a cliff and go away, that's fine. I think there were some little Koopas in Mario that would do that. If you just sat still long enough, they would just unalive themselves.
The green ones.
Yeah.
And then the red ones would get smarter.
Yeah, the red ones would go back and forth. They would. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. They would go to the edge, and then turn around. And I'm putting up a wall here, but either way. Okay, so this is set up. Let me go ahead, and I'm going to do more to him later, but let me go ahead and take my evil eye and make him a prefab so I can reuse him. And we just want to see if he moves around. He won't do anything else now. He won't hurt us. He won't hurt himself. But he should bob back and forth between these two blocks. He just cruises. Didn't even make it there. So my collider on the front of him is sticking out there pretty far. It's like he doesn't even make it all the way to the block. I can move that in. Why not? And since we expose a lot of those things, our variables, I can change his speed. So by default, he's at 2. We can have him be like a really zippy guy. Crank him up to 10. Yeah. He's serious. Don't mess with him. Right. And all we got to do to make him dangerous is to add our epic fail to him. So if we hit him now, then we're in trouble. It hurts. But what if we want to hurt him?
Shoot him, bonk.
Yeah, bonk him. All right. So we could put something on the bullet that says, "Hey, I hit something, destroy it." But I'm going to put something on the enemy itself, and then later on, if I decide I want the enemy to have like 3 hit points or something, then I can count it down before I kill him. I know we sound very violent in here. So he's got fail on him, so I'm going to add one more script to him, and then we'll change it up a little bit and add another enemy. We'll do the same thing. So we're going to add a new script called enemy death or enemy retire, right? We don't, yeah, that's fine. What? Okay, I guess so. Unity does not want to be open anymore. It's done with me. Please. Okay, all right, enemy death. All right. For now, I don't need that bit. So I'm gonna build what we need for this for now, for this guy, and then we're gonna add to it. Don't need any of that. So basically, just on trigger enter for now is what we need for this. So if other .game object, we're going to use a tag, not a name, is, let's call it bullet. Then we'll unalive. Simple. So first, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy the other game object, so we don't have a bullet that's just flying through the level, wiping out everybody. Unless you're into that, that's fine. I don't want to overpower us. And then we'll do other stuff later. And then we will just unalive ourselves. So the bullet hit us, we'll destroy the bullet, and then destroy ourselves. Who's that? Weird that the team working on a viral game has all been taken out by this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I mean, we could go into auto unity. Let's not.
Okay, so he should die if I hit him with a bullet, but I need also for my bullets to be called bullets, or he won't know to die. Why do I have two? Okay, fun. Let's see what the knight is actually firing. It's firing energy bullet, not energy orb. So the orb could probably, I'm just going to delete that for now. I don't know why that's here. So energy bullet is untagged, but I apparently have already set up a bullet tag. So I'll use that. If not, you can just add tags. So when you hit that, add tag, and again, you can call stuff whatever. But then you have to go back and tag it. So I had the tag already, so I'm going to tag this bullet, and we'll see if I can destroy the evil eye. Ah! Oh, there we go. I don't know why I'm firing through. It's just a layering, yeah. Yeah, but I just wasn't expecting to go behind this. It works. Or I can, yeah, it's definitely Bethesda good. So that works. I'm going to go ahead and, since I made changes to Evil Eye here, I added some scripts and did some stuff. I'm going to change his move speed back down. That was kind of wild. But my prefab in my scene I made changes to, so I need to come up here to overrides, and all these things I changed I'm going to apply so that all the rest of my Evil Eye prefabs that I might be using or could be using in the future will act the same way. There's some other good spots for that. But if I drop one there, it'll work. So he should come down here and maybe hit that, and then just start bouncing back and forth here. All right. Now, I'm going to go grab, is it on here? Yes, I'm going to grab this little sprite sheet. Oh, it's two different sprite sheets. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to grab slime and slime death. And we'll set this guy up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make him operate the same as the Evil Eye, but he's got a cool death animation. So we don't want to get rid of him right away. We want to see him go. Otherwise, what's the point? All right. In here. My sprites. Oh, I've already got them in here. Okay, look, I just imported them. No, they're already here. I don't know what happened. Let's get rid of them. We'll do it again. So drag in slime and slime death. And then we need to set those up. So this will be multiple. Let me check my notes. 16 pixels per unit. And then point no filter. Huh, 32 then. So this is his just moving around animation. So we've got that. And then we'll do the same thing for this one. So change that to multiple. 16 pixels per unit. Filter, apply, sprite editor. Cell size, and we're already at 32. So perfect. Okay. Apparently things are not going well. People are walking out of the room. They're taking phone calls. Terrible. All right. Let's see. No, I'm distracted. All right. So we'll just drag him in, set him up. Okay. It's all good. Typical stuff. All right. So I will start by dragging in slime and not slime death. And let's see. Guess I can put him in here. I like this area. I'm just going to move this first Evil Eye somewhere else. We'll let him just bounce around down here for no reason. Okay, so I'm going to drag my slime up here. And then it's going to do all this stuff like we did before. So do an evil slime animation. Not to be confused with our friend the slime that we had bouncing around earlier. See if that animates. Should. We don't have movement. We don't have anything else on him, but he should be kind of bouncing. He's doing something. All right. We can set him up the same way. We're going to give him a name. Evil Slime. I'm going to go ahead and add the pit monster to him so that he moves back and forth. All the same stuff. We'll add Epic Fail to him so that he hurts us. We'll add the enemy death script, and then we'll make changes to that. And then we need to add our colliders and such. So I'm going to do a box collider on him since he's got a flat bottom. And yeah, we'll leave it like that. That's fine. Parts of his animation are going to go up into that, I think. So we'll leave the box collider like that. We'll give him the rigid body 2D. Did I? Okay, it was a box collider 2D. Good deal. And this time I'll just flip them. So I'll do a circle collider for his forward vision. Pull that down some. Here we go. Kind of eye level. And then that one needs to be a trigger. So he should move back and forth and do everything else the other guy does now until we decide to make changes to that script. Okay, well, that part works. Fair. Yeah. I think it's this box collider is too tall, and so he's literally getting caught on the branch. So I'll fix that. It was fun to look at, though. Well, because like parts of his animation later are going to be, he's not even going to get that tall. So I don't know. Guess they're just trying to keep him on a square. All right, let me. The actual sprite itself, yeah. There's a lot of dead space in there that it's not even being used. So all right, we'll pull that down a little bit, but he's going to go up kind of high on some other frames. So we'll try that there. I mean, really, like he made no threatening moves. I was just like, this guy's moving over here. Let me take him out. Yeah, it's kind of terrible. Yes, sir. Did you tag your bullet as bullet? Tag, not name. So check that. Somebody, Matthew, or somebody, help him with his bullets are not bulleting. Kai's on it. All right. So he's got another animation we want to use. So let's get into this guy. So we've got Evil Slime, and he's already got the slime controller. With the Evil Slime animation. And that's his bouncing up and down, or it should be. Let's look at it. All right, so I want to make a new clip for him. Oh, darn it. Here we go. Okay, so he's got to be selected over here. It's just really weird. So I've got my evil slime animation. I'm going to create a new clip, and we're going to call it slime death, which apparently we've already got. So we're going to call it slime unalive, slime perish, slime retire, slime cash in your 401k. And I will grab all of these frames and drag those in. And we're going to set that to 12 as well. Actually, you know what? Let's just set this even lower. I'm going to do like 6. No, we'll try 12. I think that's what I set it to earlier. So we've got all those in there. And now that he's got another animation, I should have access to that right here. This will be similar to what we did before. I'm just going to create a transition from it's moving to it unaliving. And we're going to have that triggered off a parameter that's going to be a trigger. So got killed, I think is what I decided to call it. Let me look. Yep, got killed. There we go. We'll use that. So that'll be my condition for this transition here. Got killed. And I don't want an exit time or any of that. Turn off exit time, turn off fixed duration. That one should loop. This one should not. I'm just double checking. Yeah, this one's set to loop. So the unalive, I'm going to turn off the looping because we just wanted it once and be gone. All right, now to accommodate all of that, we need to make changes in our script. So I'm going to reopen enemy death, and we're going to add some stuff to it. So first, I'm going to need to get an animator off of it. So animator, and we'll just call it animator. And so I'm just looking to see if it's got one. I don't need to set this to public. By default, it'll be private since I didn't say anything, but we could say private. Or just not put anything in its default to private. So my animator is going to be get component animator. So saying, hey, I should have an animator on myself. That's the one I want to access. So there we go, getting the animator. I don't need update at all, do I? Nope. Pull that out. So first we will unalive the bullet. And then we'll do some checks in here. So if the animator is not equal to null, we've got an animator. That means we're the slime and not the evil eye. Then we'll do some stuff. Otherwise, we'll do something else. So if we don't have an animator, we're just going to destroy ourselves immediately. That's what the eyeball did. So that's what we're doing. We're counting for him. If we have an animator, then I'm going to go ahead and learn how to type. And then I'm going to go ahead and animator set trigger. Said got killed, or whatever you called it. So that's going to tell my animator to just flip over to that other animation. And then all I'm going to do is, so give enough time to play animation. Whatever spelling. Then we unalive. So it'll be the same thing. We're going to destroy ourselves. But this time we'll give it a delay. So I think about a half second will do it. So we'll set the trigger for the animation. We'll destroy ourselves, but after a half a second. I'm sure it's everything I throw at it, but it feels like Unity gets slower like about every time and then gone. It's just enough time to see whatever. I want everything to blow up. Points to blow up like that when I hit it. And that's kind of it. Let me see. So I'm gonna make a prefab out of this slime so that I can reuse him. And let me pop in the evil eye guy so I can make sure I didn't break him. They should bounce off each other. This should be interesting. Okay, let me just look through our rubric here because I've got some other things we want to do. I did extend this, so instead of being due Monday night, it's Tuesday night because fall break or whatever. So we need to make it. We have our eyeball prefab. It moves back and forth. Enemy death. It can kill us using the epic fail, or I think someone called it sadness. Got our slime. So we got these two enemies, the slime and the eyeball. And I would like you to find and or create another enemy. So water cats or viruses or giant trolls or whatever. I want them to at least move around, but move a different way. So maybe they bob up and down. Maybe I don't know. Some kind of new movement other than the pit monster one. Maybe they chase us. I don't know. So it moves a different way, and then we also want to unalive this guy. And so 5 points for I can kill that enemy. Bonus point if we get another animated death like the slime guy. Yeah. Enemy 3, whatever that is, can kill the player. So same setup. And I've got some extra credit opportunities here. So if enemy 3 not just like runs into us and kills us, but like actually attacks, shoots, swings a sword, whatever, bonus points for that. Here, yeah, with intent. Yeah, we want it to be personal. That way we can feel better about ourselves for going through this level and just taking out everything that moves. If you want to set up a boss battle, like a straight up boss battle where like it's going to take multiple hits at the end of this, then bonus points for that. And then again, bonus points now that we're at the end of it, again for uploading to the WebGL version so that you can show it to grandma on Thanksgiving. All the wonderful things you've been working on. Look, I'm killing innocent slimes for no reason.
Yeah.
This is what your tuition dollars are going for. Yeah. And so if you've got a third level, that'd be a great spot for a boss fight. I think, yeah. So I set up a third level on mine. I just took a copy of my first level. And I've got this extra little bit. Yes, save. Goodness, save everything. So at the end of my first level, this is where we get to level 2. And this is unaccessible by the actual player, but I just made this my level 3. So I've got this little platform up here so I could fight a boss up there if I wanted to. So at the end of level 2, comes back here. Yeah, so there's extra credit opportunities, or just meet the bare minimum requirements and be done with this for forever, Kaylee. Yes.
I have a question. So whenever I published the last course we did to the actual generator, my canvas had an issue where the text was making it a lot smaller than what it actually was, so that you could barely see the key count text and everything like that.
Yeah.
Is there a certain way to set it up that doesn't do that?
There's a fine art to all of that. So yeah, making your UI resizable is a whole deal for sure. I can show you some of mine. Well, let me see. I've got my canvas here. Use this one. Right. So that's why I've got this one anchoring to this corner, and then these two anchor to that corner. There's other things you can do in there besides just the anchoring. So you can set like this lives text. Let's see if I can. Where to go? I literally just did this. Where's this? Where's the resizing? Weird. Oh, it's hidden. Yeah. So this layout properties was up over the top. It was like, where'd everything go? Yeah. So down under here in the Text Mesh Pro, you can set auto size, and so you can give it minimum, a maximum. There's all these check boxes for like, don't resize until you get to this, or don't go to a new line. Play with all those. It's really fine tuning. I'll show you. I did some of this on my main menu, my start menu. I'm not going to save that. So here, this is everything sized for 4K. And if I pull down to like 1080, then I get overlap, but at least it's not going off the screen. So my resizing wasn't fully working there. So on my background, for my text, I did have some resizing set up. And I don't know. I don't know why it decided to move down there. I think probably I didn't set the right constraints up here. So it's just told to stretch over the top, and probably is keeping its height of whatever it had before. So this guy is great for all of this. Yeah. So stretch and center. Look at all these buttons. Look at this mess. There's a lot. I don't know that I've ever made a perfect UI that resizes to fit everything. I just get it good enough and move on with life. But if you're going to release something, then something official, then you should. But yeah, it's a fine art. But those are the first steps: is getting your resizing and then all of your rect transform stuff in place. And then just tell people not to play it at 1080. So you got to play this in 4K. All right. Any other questions? No? Maya, you don't have a question? There it is. All right.
When is ITC Smash gonna come out?
That's what we need to do. Yeah. So just combining all the games into one, that would be fantastic. And send some viruses after Water Cats, after Nintendogs, after yeah.
Yeah, I'm water soluble, which would make that puts me at a disadvantage. But I also have a grappling hook and style points.
Yeah. You got to use your grappling hook to avoid the Water Cat, or you'll dissolve. And then, of course, the frogs are just the ultimate NPCs. Like, we're just going to avoid them at all costs.
What is each character's
Yeah, a
ultimate?
frog called me white the other day, and it hurt me.
What would Water Cat's ultimate be?
Tsunami? Yeah. All right, we'll stop this.